We've just installed 16 panels on this slate roof using Genius flashings. You're here because you want to know how we done it. Come see how we did it. So I'm Tom from RenuSol. We have a team of solar roofers and we've been installing rooftop solar for the last 7 years. So we've seen what's right to do, what's wrong to do, and we've seen everything in between. So we've decided to start up this channel and to kind of touch base on where we're at in 2026. So we've decided that our first video we'll do is everything you need to know to install a good installation on a slate roof. Okay, so we're up on the roof now. We've got this massive slate roof. We're going to be installing 16 ICOs 475 watt panels. It's going to look super nice when it's done. It's going to be 2 rows of 8. The stringing orientation is going to be the bottom row and the top row. So we're just going to kind of run you through how we're going to do it. And I'll show you the kit we're using as well. So we're using the RenuSol 420-181 bracket. Now this is the bracket I'd recommend if installing a slate roof. It's on par with Van der Valk, all the good stuff. I mean, look how thick and strong that is. There's no play in that at all. So we're using the Genius speed flashing, which realistically is probably the only professional way of installing solar panels on slates. They come with shims. So these are designed to put the bracket away from the slate below. You may need one, you may need both. And it comes with the foams that hook underneath the bracket to stop the insects from going in. And they also come with the lids, which clip on after the bracket's been installed. So first things first, we're gonna get a good measurement of this roof. Because we've got 2 rows of 8 going in, our first objective is to find the center of the roof. So what we're gonna do is, a trick, if you haven't got a long tape measure, is to measure 5 meters from the right-hand side, 5 meters from the left, and that's gonna bring the edges into a sensible measurement that you can do.
Basically, now we know the width of the panels, which is 113. We need to just get a measurement of that times 8, but we also got to remember that there's a 20mm mid on each section, which is gonna be 7 of them, so that's 14. So it gives us a measurement of 918 in total, so we just got to divide that by 2. And that's 459 each side.
514.5 divided by 2.
514.
257.25.
If we just mark the 176 from there, then we've got the bottom.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to give us, from the top and the bottom, 800mm.
So that's perfectly within regulations.
Yep.
Which
They recommend 400 each side. For example, if you had to put your panels here and the rainwater runs off of those panels, it will miss the gutter. That's why they have these regulations to keep things like that working.
So now we've got the bottom row. This is where the bottom panel is going to be sitting. Just need to figure out now where the brackets are going. We like to give from the bottom of the panel anywhere between 400 and 350. 350 is perfect, 400's the most. We've got 8 panels in a row. A usual good rule of thumb is to add 1 more bracket. So where we've got 8 panels, we want to be adding roughly 9 brackets in to support that rail at the bottom.
It all does depend though on the spacing of the rafters.
It
Sometimes
does.
you can't fit it in, sometimes you have to put extras in just because it doesn't have the right spacing. So it just kind of depends on the roof and how it's been made.
That's right, usually around 8 or 9 for 8 panels, sometimes 10. Okay, so now we've done all them steps. Our next step is to be finding where the rafters go up. On a slate roof, it's hard because you can't just lift up the tiles and look. So there's a few ways. You can either go in the loft, kind of measure from the wall out and then measure the centers from the rafters. But then another trick we've learned is that the fascias here have pins on. Sometimes this isn't accurate, but you'd like to think it is. So if I'm just gonna see a pin there, and then I'm gonna mark there, so hopefully now there should be a rafter there, but we won't know until we try. So let's try that now. Now that we've confirmed that the pins on the fascia are lining up to the rafters, Rich is just going to go along now and mark the suitable rafters that we'll be using. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to want to be using 8 to 9, so we need to choose our perfect 8 or 9 rafters now. See that like that? Now when we're grinding this out, the idea of this is to protect this slate because we don't want to damage this one because then water's going to get through.
Theoretically, this is our rafter position based on what we've just been discussing. So in order to not cut the slates below this slate here, you need to put this in here obviously take that pin out, but that will shove right up, and then when I grind out, it will only grind out this tile, not the tiles below.
And what Richard's marked there is one of these. You'll see again in a minute more clearly when we slide the flashing in, that bit sticks out of the slate, so that's why we've marked that now as like a stencil. Okay, so once that top tile's cut, you'll be able to see where the batten is below. So what the idea is now, we can cut through the bottom slate to gain access to the rafter, which is all good. And then the bracket's now going to get attached onto that.
Yeah, we were right as well.
Good.
Got a rafter.
We're never wrong, are we?
Well, I don't know about that, bro.
So these are the shims. If you see without these shims, you put the bracket on. Arguably that is probably all right, but where we've got the choice to put shims in, you'll see the difference with them in now. So we've got the rafter there. You can use one or two of these, but we're just going to use two to get it nice away from the roof. And then you see the difference now. So that's perfect. Yep. You see how that's sitting now, the flashing underneath there. It is okay if it comes under there, but what you want to do is make sure that the top of the flashing's going above the batten above. So now we're ready to get a screw in there with the bracket.
Perfect.
That, last but not least, the lid.
You've got to hook it in from the bottom, hear a click, and then that's it, done.
Now we've got 37 more of them to do. Okay, so now we've got all of the bottom brackets in, our next step is to get the rails. Where we've got 8 panels in a row, it's a little bit more than 3 rails, so we don't have to be as accurate this side. So our line's here, so we can come over half a foot that way, so then when we're going up, we know that we've got plenty of rail and the same that side. All these do is attach on, they've got a groove in here, and then a T-bolt we call them, and they literally go in there, you loosen this up, get the level that you want, and then tighten it back up. A pro tip, underneath the bolt here, there's a line, and it's actually showing the direction of this. So when the rail's in, you want to make sure that that line's facing up.
Our rails here are 3.6 metres long. Obviously our system is over 9 metres, so we're going to need something called a rail joiner. Goes inside the rail like this. Give it a little bash in there, and then you get another rail, join in like that, and then that's how you connect the rails along to create a longer system than 3.6.
Now we have the opportunity to get up onto this rail, so what we're going to do is we've got our line at the bottom, so this is where the top of the bottom panel is going to be sitting. Now we need to figure out whereabouts our brackets are, so let's keep that there a sec.
It's going to go up actually, isn't it? So it's going to be hard to judge.
Might be a bit over, let's go with this one. I'm telling you now.
What's he lying about now? There you go, mate.
Thank you so kindly.
It's all right.
Oh, you're so kind to me.
This is why we've raised the bracket up, because you can see where Tom's standing on that bracket now. There's a fair bit of movement on that. If we didn't raise that up by that amount, that would be pushing down onto this tile, and eventually it would crack and break, and then that would have to cause us to take out the entire slate here and all the brackets to replace it.
Okay, so we're on day 2 of this 16 panel slate installation. We had to call it a day yesterday. We got all the brackets in and then it started raining. So we booked 2 days on this anyway, just in case. So we're here on the second day. We're gonna get the deck lights in, get the panels on, do the bird proofing, and then that'll be us on this one. So to get these cables in, we're gonna be using the Deck-Tite product, which is essentially a flashing for slate or tiled roofs. And you cut these off, the cables go in, and then you tile back in around it, and it all sits naturally back how it should be. We need enough DC cable to go into the loft, out the wall, down, and then into the garage. So we just kind of calculate now how much meters we need, so then we can avoid doing links within the loft. What ones are we doing? So if we do 1 bit of tape is a mark, that can be the bottom row. So we'll make this one the one that's going all the way over there, and then we'll do a shorter one for there, and then we'll do the same.
Put 2 tapes on it.
Maybe, yeah. So I've sent King Louis into the loft now. He's the other side. You there, Lou?
Yeah, I'm here.
You can hear him in there. He's in the abyss.
I've got it.
He's going to be pulling the DCs through and keeping them safe. So when the electricians come, the electricians are here actually. When they get to the point of them running it through the loft where they need, it'll all be ready for them. I've damaged the cable, so I need to be really careful. It's just, if this all comes off, it's murders. So we need enough to get to this end rail, because this is where one's going to be starting. So as you can see now, the cables are coming down flush from the lap, so the lap's not being pulled back up, which is quite important. Where the felt's quite old, we just want everything to be sitting how it should be. A good solar roofer will try and make the roof better condition with solar panels on than how they found it without them on. He's back.
So this is our DC cable, and this is pretty much what we connect the panels to the battery and inverters from. And these are cutters, and obviously we just get the cutters, we take a little bit of the rubber off, make sure not to go too far, because you don't want to take off the strands. And then these strands, you twist these, and then you get your little MC4 connectors. So this is a female one. So this pretty much just goes onto the end of here. You crimp that like that. Get your crimps. That's crimped like that. And then you can get your MC4 connector, which goes on the end of here. You hear a little click like that. Tighten it up, and you're good to go.
So now we've got the cables through the Deck-Tite. The slate underneath, we've got the lap here, the cables are coming down. I always cut just a little square there, so then the cables are not, they can come through nicely and just come out naturally. I think if I just go, let's just kind of freestyle it. Let's try that. You could not put this slate back in, but we're a little bit finicky. We just thought we'd do it anyway. I like doing the circle cuts as well. It shows the true grindman skill. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
that's not
perfect.
too bad, is it, eh? That is not too bad. So we've got the cables out. We're running them all along, and save them having them loose like this. We just go along and put the cable ties on them. So this should be happening on every install, whether it be slate or concrete or whatever. It's just try to keep good cable management. You don't want the wind going underneath and knocking on the roof for the customer to hear. So it's better to just put these steps in now to avoid any future problems. The good thing about our job is the nice little relaxing moments we get to just enjoy nature and life of being a rooftop solar installer. Doesn't get much better than this, Lou, does it?
No, some of the views are, mate, they're beautiful.
Morning. Right, so we've got the panels up. Well, not all of them actually. We've got 8 up. We're going to lay the bottom row and then we'll lay the top row. Some guys prefer to lay the top row and then the bottom, but we just like to use gravity with it. So we're going to lay the bottom and then the top. So let me show you how we're going to be doing it. So what MC4 do we have there? So we've got a male connector there, Lou.
Yeah.
So we want to lift this panel up. So now what we're doing to keep the cable management really nice and tidy underneath the system, we put a cable tie here. The idea of this is to just try and make it look nice from when you're on the ground looking up. Although it's got bird proofing on, we don't like to see like loads of spaghetti cables underneath. So by doing this, it's just keeping it organised and much more neater, like that. And that's ready now. So then when the rails are going to be here, we can essentially bend them round like that. And then all of the middle rails will just be nice and clear. So let's get some mids and ends. So now if you see here, the MC4's landing pretty much on that rail, which is exactly where we want it. You got that, Lou, yeah?
Yep.
So now we can grab our MC4s, because all MC4s need to be away from the roof tile. So we always recommend attaching them to the rails with just a couple cable ties. That way it's going to prevent arcing, any weather going in. Just keeping it nice and safe and tidy. Literally just like that. We won't need to cut these off. You can do if you want, but you'll never see them anyway. So now we've got this panel in, our objective is to get it nice and straight. Now last time on a previous job, last week in Birmingham, I let Louis eye it in and he got it in absolutely spot on, because in this trade, you could put a string line in, but then it could be off there. So your best friends are your eyes. So Louis, I'm gonna let you eye this one in and we'll see how straight you get as the 8 panels go, yeah?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted?
Yeah. It looks like it's going up a little bit.
It looks like it's going up, yeah?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier if you go down the bottom and then look up towards it, you might be able to see.
Looks pretty good from this way.
You happy?
No, it's going up a little bit.
It's going up, yeah? So I'll come down a bit more.
Yeah, come down a little bit. Yeah, that looks better.
You happy with that, yeah?
Yeah.
If Louis' eyes are good, we should be on track to being fully straight. So we can get another panel ready now, Lou.
Yep.
I shall sit here and look pretty. So if you see here, the neighbouring one's here. So now we can literally, I'll just slide that over a bit so it's not too tight. Whenever you're doing this, you just want to make sure that the MC4s are not getting pulled too much, because we want to prevent arcing. I know this might be a little bit of a long-winded way to do it, but just for experience, it's always better to do anything on the roof as best as you can do it first time around, just to try and future-proof anything. So if there's a better way to do it, even if it takes longer, I'd highly recommend just doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got the bottom row in now, and obviously we challenged Louis to see how straight he can get it. So let's judge it now. Looking at it, Lou, yep. It is looking spot on. Spot on. He's good, isn't he? He's good. We've got a good crew here. Okay, so now the bottom row's in. We've trusted that Louis' eyes are pretty good, so that's definitely straight. So now we're going to go ahead and just put the top row on. I might have said earlier why we do the bottom row first. To cut a long story short, it's because we like to use gravity rather than pushing up and clamping. We can just sit the panel on and then the panel's sitting there, hands free, and then we can go around and tighten it. So once we've done this, all we've got to do then is cut the rails, have a good tidy up, do the bird proofing, and then that'll be another happy customer. 3, 2, 1. Another thing I'd like to say as well is when we're on a roof with some guys, communication is absolutely key. If I'm passing Louis a panel and he says, yeah, that generally means that he's got it. You know, you need to be waiting for this communication, because it can take a matter of one slip for something to seriously go wrong. Guys, whilst we're here waiting for Louis to get a camera, if you want to see more videos of us, maybe do it on metal roofs, concrete tiles, rosemary tiles, or anything maybe that you've got some questions, leave some comments down below and we'll review them, and we'll definitely be doing more videos. We're going to aim to do one a month, but we'll see how it goes. It's all about preparation and asking the clients if we can film and finding the right jobs as well. So stay tuned and we'll definitely try and do that for you. Do you want to know the real reason why I wanted to start a YouTube? Wow. Just so I can show my wife how hard my job actually is. So you can see now how hard us boys work, because when we get home and we're tired, you can understand why. Now the panels are all on. Next step is to cut the rails. We like to use, we use Milwaukee everything. Don't know why, we just gravitated towards it. It's super strong and durable. So this is actually a metal cutting saw. Now you can use any kind of skill saw with a metal blade. Some guys use a hacksaw, but we like to use this because we're getting the same cut every time. We'll run the end clamp along there, and then that's about a 15 to 20 mil gap. So that meaning that all the rails are going to have the same distance from the ends on every one. Okay, so we're going to be cutting the mesh. Some people don't cut it. We prefer to cut it. Whether it makes a difference or not, I don't really know. But we like to cut it because we think it looks sleeker to the edge of the panels. It will make more sense shortly once we've done it. But what we're going to do essentially is roll out the 30-metre mesh. We're going to cut 4 squares off it. and you'll see why shortly. So the reason we put the bird proofing on is to stop any pigeons, squirrels or anything like that nesting underneath it. The thing is, when you get pigeons under there, they create an awful lot of noise for the customer under the roof. You get gutters full of pigeon poop and you get the worst scenario is that if the pigeons have nests on the rails and the MC4s were to arc, that's actually going to be a very dangerous fire hazard. It's nice up here, mate. The sun's coming out now as well. Gosh, did I pick a good career? I think I did. I think I have picked a good career. So that's that install done. I'm super happy with how this one done. With good communication, good clients, we managed to get a really good job. Like I said earlier, we're going to be doing a lot more videos like this. We'll do one on a concrete tile, a clay tile. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one.